every once in a while I'll get a comment here on the channel or even a message in Messenger, and it's very cynical, jaded, and dark. And you've probably seen these comments yourself. Guys who will comment and say, well, all these Filipinas, they just want money. All you need is money. Just, take your wallet and that's all you need. Forget about love. Forget about actual relationships. It's all a waste of time. They're all a bunch of game players. And I have no doubt at all that these guys believe this. The problem is that it's not reality. It's their reality. It's their experience. I bet you I could sit down with these guys for lunch and have them tell me, okay, tell me about all these bad women that you have made this judgment about life. Tell me about these women. And they could tell me one after another true story, how they got lied to, they got cheated on, they got taken advantage of, they, got tricked, and these women were not who they thought they were. And it would all be true. They would have a string of 5, 10, 15 different women, Filipinas, whatever, and they were all a disappointment. And based on their own limited experience, this is why they make these comments. Oh, it's all just a waste of time. Don't look for love because it doesn't exist. All you need is money and you'll have yourself a Filipina. Now, the problem is that there's a reason why guys like this end up with one bad woman after another. And it is something I've talked about before, a total lack of discernment. And the second thing they lack is self-control. So you've got guys who, in the mix of life, as you go about the dating realm, and again, I recommend just stay off the dating sites, but as you go about dating women, there's a mixture, a cornucopia, if you will, of all kinds of women. Some that are really great, some that are really horrible, some that are murderous, some that are just liars, some that are materialistic, some that are good-hearted, kind-hearted, loving. There's a whole mixture of them out there. But if you don't have discernment to know a good one from a bad one, and lack self-control like these guys, what's really going to drive your decision-making process on the women that you get involved with is going to be how pretty is she and how good does she look in a skirt. And as long as those two criteria are met, guys like this just leap forward, taking the bait, which is what it is. Especially, a beautiful woman doesn't go out of her way to really look sexy, because that's not what she's hoping to use to lure a man in. She wants to have a good relationship. And if she meets a man she's interested in, she's going to use her kindness, her compassion, her sense of care about who you are. That's how she wants to keep a good man in her life. And if you really look around, it's the women who dress pretty much like prostitutes that are relying on catching a man based on his inability to control himself. If they know that if they can just get him horny and excited, he will lose all sense of discernment, no practice of discretion, no sense of self-control, and he'll be hooked. And that's the kind of guys that make these comments who say, oh, they're just all bad women. No, the reality is men who make these kind of comments are easily hooked. They are easily attracted by bright, shiny women who have short skirts and high heels. And because they chase that kind of woman over and over and over, eventually, after a couple of years, they get convinced that that's the only kind of woman there is available. They wouldn't know a good woman if it crossed their path right in front of them. Again, a lack of discernment. What is discernment? Discernment is being able to know one thing from another. A good apple from a bad apple. A right decision from a wrong decision. A good woman from a bad woman. That's discernment. Now, if a person has discernment and they look at a woman and they go, you know what? This woman shows all the signs of being promiscuous, materialistic, shallow. It's only half the battle to have the discernment to recognize that. If they don't have the self-control to walk away, they're basically walking into what they know is a bad choice. It's like, well, I know she's bad news, but I want a piece of that. And then they come out the other end. Well, she took my money. No, she didn't take your money. She asked for money and you pulled it out of your wallet and gave it to her because you lacked the self-control to just say no. Why? Because you wanted to keep her around. And you knew this is the kind of woman that if you don't start shelling out money on a regular basis, she's going to leave because she's just all about the money. You knew that. You knew that going in, but did it anyway. And to me, for a guy to then complain about, oh, all women are like this, all women are materialistic, all women are just after money. No, all the women you dated are like that. And how do I know this? Because after living in the Philippines since 2012, I know so many expats. I have so many friends across different islands, different ages, different backgrounds that are happily married with a Filipina or in a great relationship that will probably lead to marriage. And their Filipina wife or fiance, girlfriend does not fit into this tiny little mold that these guys comment about. These are good women who are faithful, not cheaters. These are women that actually go out of their way to help their man save money, not spend it. They're not materialistic. These are women that value the relationship and the time that they can spend together as a couple, building a future together. They're nothing at all like these scammer, cheater women that the other guys just don't have the brains, don't have the discernment, don't have the self-control to stay away from. Now, interestingly enough, I've seen the other side of this equation. I've talked to a few guys who have commented on my channel in the past, and they were just lucky. They showed up in the Philippines, and the first Filipina they got involved with, or the one they'd been chatting with online that met them at the airport, it all worked out great. They dated, they got married. I know I have one buddy of mine, that's exactly what happened. He was talking to a Filipina online. She met him at the airport. They have been together ever since then. I think it's been like 10 years now. They're happily married. They got, kids together. And I mean, they're doing great. He's constantly telling me just how happy and content he is to find a good woman. And he didn't have to date 10, 20, 30, 80, 60, whatever Filipino women, with a bunch of horror stories. He didn't have to go through all that. And that some of the guys, the other guys that I know, again, that found a great Filipino woman right away, they moved to the Philippines, first or second dating experience, bam, they had it. Those guys will make comments that are kind of too much on the other side of the spectrum. And they'll say, well, it's not hard to find a good Filipino woman. It's not hard at all. I found one, it only took me 2 months, and we've been happily married for 8 years. Well, they don't know what it's like to be out there in the dating pool. Because when you're out there dating and looking around, trying to find somebody that you just organically gel with and everything's cool, and you find yourself in a great relationship, to find that, you've got to sort through, again, this whole cornucopia of choices out there. Plenty of women seem like they're very normal and loving and sweet in the beginning. But as I've said so many times, give it 3 months. In the first 3 months, you're going to see who they want you to see. And you're doing the same thing. You're on your best behavior those first 3 months. But after 3 months, a person starts thinking, well, I'm either going to invest more into this relationship or not. And as they're at that sort of crossroads, the real them starts to come out. If a woman is really just all about the materialism and 3 months later she doesn't feel she's getting a big enough paycheck out of this relationship, she's going to get restless and move on and probably start showing the signs of sabotaging the relationship to get him to end it. But all this is going to happen within 3 months. I've said this so many times, 85% of the relationships you start won't make it past 3 months. In fact, a lot of them don't even make it past the first 4 weeks. And it comes out they are not who you thought they were. And it takes time to figure that out. So don't beat yourself up that you've, dated a few bad apples and it didn't work out. That's just part of the process. It's in a way kind of like trying to find the one good mango out of the whole bin of semi-spoiled and very spoiled other ones. You have to kind of root around through there and no, not this one, not that one. Oh, this one looks good. Oh no, flip it over. No, that's not good. And then you find a great one. And if you got any brains, you hang on to it. So the answer is in the middle. Life is life. There are choices out there, good ones and bad ones. And if you've got the discernment to know a good one when you find it, have the self-control to not continue dating side chicks and whatever when you've got a really good woman on your hands. And when you've come across a really obviously bad woman, don't let self-control steer you towards, well, yeah, she's moody and materialistic and I'm not sure I can trust her, but she's got a great body, she's really pretty, so I'm just going to try and make it work. Don't be that stupid. You've got to exercise discernment and self-control if you want the prize. If you want the great Filipina that's going to love you for who you are, you have got to exercise discernment and self-control. The second you drop either one of those out of the equation, you are guaranteed going to screw yourself over. And you're going to have one bad relationship after another until you find yourself talking like these guys. Oh, they're all bad. Well, yeah, stop making 40 bad choices in a row and coming to that conclusion. Take some ownership. It's up to us to look at the person that's right there in front of us, figure out who are they, what are they really about, are they truly sincere? Not, I want them to be that person. Don't project what you want onto a person that is not who you're looking for. It's so easy to think, well, she's pretty and she's cute. She must be loving and sweet and faithful. No, outward appearance is no guarantee of inward character. And if you keep that in mind and take your time, you can have a great relationship in the Philippines or anywhere else.